of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
I'm Perry, professional numerologist, and today's topic of discussion is the 3 biggest fears that master number 11s face. And I'm so thrilled to have with me today Stefanie Garcia from voiceadream.com. Hey, Stefanie.
Hey, how are you all doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you had the time to join us today. I've been so inspired by your blog, and I just want everybody to know that you just write the most amazing blog. Stefanie is a master number 11, and that's why I asked her to join me today, because I feel that since you contacted me last year and you had a reading with me, you've really worked hard at embracing the master number 11. I think it's given you a little bit of maybe enlightenment, possibly, on your journey. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been an interesting road. But I will tell you, it's one thing that I would never would ever trade, honestly. It's been just the amount of security that I've gained in myself and the momentum in my life and my career has just been, it's been amazing. I don't even know how, there should be another adjective for me to add in there, but just.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. The journey is a challenging one, as we all know. Anybody who knows anything about master number 11s knows that it was a pretty tall order that you guys signed up for before you came. But you know, if only we knew, right? Yeah. So what we wanted to talk about today, we're going to break this down into 3 parts, and we want to talk about the 3 biggest fears that master number 11s face. And you and I have had lengthy discussions about this, and that's why I thought it'd be good if we shared it with our master 11s. And the first thing we want to talk about is sort of the number 1 fear, I think, that master number 11s experience, and that's the fear of rejection.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a big one, isn't it?
A big one. Big one.
What do you think that is?
I think it's one that starts really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked about it before, but I think it's just this feeling that we know what it's like to stand out. And for us, that ever little bit that we fit in with the crowd in any way, the thought of walking away from that and really going on our own is frightening. It's really, really frightening. So
yeah, I talked to a lot of master number 11s that you know, when they're young kids, you know, they're very, very open to their intuition. You know, they're talking to their invisible friends, which really aren't invisible, but you know, and when they start talking to their parents and their friends and their family about, you know, Uncle Charlie's sitting at the end of the bed kind of thing, it freaks out the family, and the family's like, oh, stop talking about stuff like that, you know, you're freaking me out. And I think all of a sudden you guys are like, what? You don't see him? I'm different? I better shut that down, because I don't want to take a chance that, you know, you might reject me or you know, yeah, leave me alone. I don't want to be abandoned, because, you know, the 11 is also a 2, and 2s need partnerships. 11s need partnerships, right? So it's really scary for you guys to risk anything for fear of being rejected.
Well, I think also intuitively, you just kind of know, you know, that maybe what we are thinking, feeling, being may not go over very well with the people around us.
Right.
For me, I even very young, I knew that certain things, if I talked about it, weren't going to necessarily go well with the people that I was around. I just intuitively knew that they were different than I was. I knew that difference. I felt that difference. And it was easier to just go with the flow and ignore it, or just be myself, who I was privately, than it would be to actually embrace it and really, really express it. But I'll tell you what, in this last 12 months, there was just no way for me to avoid that.
Isn't it interesting when you come to that? I must look back on your chart and see what cycles are affecting you, because there must be something going on that's helping.
Something's going on, because I couldn't, there was this point, like I just really felt this big push forward.
Yeah.
In the last year or so. Actually, I want to say in the last 7 months.
Well, I was just going to say, I'll bet you it was coming into the late summer, early fall, because each and every one of us, of course, in the late fall, September, October, we start shifting out of our personal energy into a new personal energy. But at the same time, the universe is doing that too. And of course, this year we're all in that personal year of the universal year of 2018, which is an 11 master energy year. So
and I'm in a 2-year myself, so
yeah, so you're right in alignment with that. So those who are 11s, those who are master number 11s, are going to feel a lot more sensitive this year than any other year, right?
Mhm.
So, and their awareness of their relationships in their lives are going to become more illuminated, right?
Oh, you know, and turbulent maybe.
Yes,
And turbulent
possibly.
maybe. I know for me, it's been definitely when I took this road and I went down this path, it was not. I mean, it was openly not accepted.
Right. Right.
Openly not accepted.
And you'll lose relationships as a result.
Oh yeah,
As
yeah.
you become more in alignment with your authentic self.
Oh yeah, so I've definitely had that experience of feeling that separation. Now there's that fear of rejection, fear of not belonging, and I faced that head on this year.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure of you need to go it this way, and yet my heart was saying I need to go it this way.
Right.
And
I think a lot of 11s feel that way.
yeah,
Conformity is huge, right?
yeah. Well, and it takes a lot of courage to go this path.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I talk about that in the download I have from my website, is that, you know, that there's that anyway.
Well, don't you find too though that you know, commonly I find 11s tend to suffer from depression, and when you think about the word depression, I think about, you know, force being put down. It's like you're being held back, you know, you're being held down, not allowed to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's this pressure on you. And I think once you are able to find the courage to walk away from that, and walk towards your path, that's when true happiness happens. But it's scary, you know, because what you're going to walk towards is not necessarily what everybody expects you to be walking towards.
Yeah.
Old soul, lots of cellular memory, right? And lots of things.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's absolutely maybe nobody else is doing it.
Right.
Maybe no one else you've ever even seen around you doing it.
Right.
Completely uncharted, and it's scary. And I will tell you, it's made me the happiest that I've been in years.
Yeah.
Honestly, but at the same time, it's been the scariest, and it's been that depression, just the sadness in some ways. The sadness.
It's like a blanket, isn't it? It's kind of like a blanket, and eventually, when you're courageous enough to kind of take that blanket and peek out from underneath it, that's when everything starts to make sense. You know?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You don't necessarily at the beginning know where you're going. You just know that you're following your heart, and you're noticing it's switching over.
Right. Exactly. Running out of time. 11s feel like they're always running out of time. Why do you think that is?
There's just always, I think there's always a race that we're after.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something bigger down the road that we feel we have to catch up to.
Right.
And the other thing is, like, not only is it running out of time, because that was the thing that I felt since I was really young,
right?
That running out of time thing.
Yeah.
The other one is that whatever we are dreaming for or wanting to have, we're afraid it's going to take too long.
Yes.
We're afraid it's going to take too long, but the truth of the matter is it's going to take as long as it's going to take. And honestly, it's going to take as much time to do it as it is to think about it. But only one of those rows is actually going to give you something.
Right.
Honestly.
Do you think it comes also from this fear of failure?
Yeah, and I think that if it's the fear of failure, like, you're never going to achieve it.
Right.
Yeah.
But also I think that it's true. I mean, master number 11s are old souls. You guys have walked this planet many, many times. And so I think that you guys have a better understanding of how short time is, right? A better understanding that life can get snuffed out just like that. And there's this fear. I know I'm supposed to be doing something much bigger than what I'm doing. I don't know what it is, and time's running out.
And it's frustrating. And it's incredibly frustrating, because you're going, I need to do something. I know time is, like, you know.
Yeah.
Where I'm so incredibly aware of time, and people go, oh, you know, you can be, you know, like, I'm 35.
Right.
And you go, okay, well, even if I'm 80, people go, well, there's so many years between that time, you know. But for me, that seems so small.
Yes.
So small. And I go, there's just an importance that I know I have to do in this life.
Yeah.
And if I don't achieve it, I know that there's going to be something. There's just this fear of that kind of failure, not failing in anybody else's eyes, but that failure that you're not going to accomplish it. And you know, it's a life. It's
really, and I think that's an important thing to note and to touch on a little bit, is that I believe that 11s, they tend to set the bar so incredibly high for themselves much higher than anybody would ever expect from themselves. And so it's really their own expectations that they're afraid they're not going to meet. And that causes them to be paralyzed to make any changes, to make any steps forward. People might laugh at me. People might reject me. People might think I'm stupid. People might not respect it. They might not believe in my dream, you know? And I'm not strong enough to make this dream happen without the support of everybody else around me, because I'm an 11, which means I'm a 2, which says I have to have partnership, right?
Or you don't trust yourself enough.
Or you don't trust yourself enough.
What you're really saying at the end of the day is I don't trust myself.
Right. And at the end of the day, the only person who can get you there is who?
You. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Right.
No, exactly. But we all try and you know what? It's not just exclusive to 11s, right? I'm a 7. And for the longest time, I tried to beat to the beat of the band that everybody else was trying to play. Does that make sense? No, seriously. I mean, I was told to go out and get the real job, right? Stop being this numerologist thing and go out and get the real job, right? And I thought, oh, you know, I was put under so much pressure to go out and get the corporate job. But, you know, every time I was in the corporate job, all I was doing is trying to find little pockets of time where I could actually go out and be my numerologist. So I always worked 2 jobs. And, you know, a very good friend of mine used to say to me, if you got your feet in 2 different doors, you're never going to be able to go through any of them, right? You got to put both feet and go through one door, and then everything will unfold for you. And it did.
Yeah. And you know what? Society says we need to progress, move forward, get something, achieve something, but society thinks that only needs to come through one way.
Right.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't provide for yourself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't create the life that you want. There's a security in, because I think as 11s too, we want to live our lives with freedom. We want to do the different things we want to do in our lives. And that really does come down to it being done by us.
Yes.
So we making sure that, you know, that's not being held in somebody else's pocket, you know. Right. But the thing is, you have a choice on how you're going to be able to, I'm not saying that you shouldn't support yourself, but the choice is yours. Do you want to go this route? Or do you want to go this route? And some people put that security in a regular job, but that's not necessarily secure either.
No, I know. And you know, the thing is with 11s, they're so insanely creative, right? And creativity doesn't always provide a healthy paycheck. And so I think a lot of people sacrifice their dreams because they go with the corporate job because it pays the bills, right? But I always say you got to find the balance. You know, I did that for a long time. I had to support myself financially with the corporate job while I could kind of carve my niche. My husband used to say to me all the time, as soon as your numerology business starts to make a little bit more money than what your corporate job does, it's time to say goodbye to your corporate job. Well, you know, I wasn't quite there yet, but I had to have the courage just to say, screw it. I got to do this, right? This is what I'm meant to do. It doesn't matter what corporate job I walk into. I'm always miserable because this is what I want to do.
Exactly. Like, and he's like, when you're being called to do something, anything else just doesn't fit.
Right. And so, yeah. And it's like, I keep repeating myself, but I do believe that when you're happy, you're on the right path. When you're unhappy, you're on the wrong path.
Yes, clear. It's clear, and yet we don't.
What makes you happy, and you'll find your path, right?
Exactly. But we don't trust it. We don't trust it.
No, exactly. So the biggest fear of our third biggest fear is that of being unclear on our purpose. Life path numbers 11s have a really hard time identifying with their life purpose. They want to be absolutely certain that they're on the right path, that they're doing the absolute right thing, because I think they feel like they're wasting time, and they're so afraid to do something that isn't perfect. For them, for whatever they've signed up for. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it comes down from just not being sure. There's so many different things that I did, and I wasn't necessarily sure. Is this it? Is this it? Doesn't feel big enough. It doesn't. It does. Is this bigger? And I think it always comes from that feeling of wanting to be able to be of service and to make a difference. Being here. Because I don't think any of us want to live our lives and leave this earth not fulfilling something that meant something.
A contribution of some kind.
A contribution of something.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't think what people recognize is that in finding your purpose and finding the thing you're supposed to do, you're doing it every day as an 11. Even as a photographer, I was still doing my work. Yeah. Even as a blogger now. Yeah. I put both of those together. I'm still doing my work because there's a through line between all of it that I do. Yeah. Even if I'm sitting here and talking to my friend and trying to help her believe in herself. Right. And own herself, It's exactly the same thing I was doing as a photographer. It's the same thing I'm talking about in my blog.
Yeah.
And in any person, there is something that is you're passionate about that will come through in all of your work.
Right.
And that's your purpose at the end.
Yeah. Absolutely. I always say people say, well, what is my life purpose? It's like they want to have a certificate that says, you know, here it is, and there's your little red sticker.
Yeah.
But really, your purpose begins every single day. You get up and you put your feet on the floor in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might have been, you know, I always use the example that when I get up in the morning, I get a lot of enjoyment out of going to read my emails, right, from my YouTube subscribers. And so quite often it's always the 11s that are the ones that are really quick to reply to my videos. And there's lovely, kind comments for the most part. And so my vibration starts here when I get up in the morning. But when somebody last night, while I was sleeping, took the time to write like 2 lines to me that were really validating or really, you know, I loved your video, whatever, my vibration goes to here. And then all of a sudden, when I have a client that I have to meet in the morning, guess what? They have the advantage that my vibration is there because somebody took the time to raise it. So this guy is now going to benefit from it. And if that's the only thing that the master number 11 does in the course of the day is to say something nice to somebody, it changes everybody's vibration.
You know what I think it's interesting? Well, you know, I think it's interesting about the fact that you said that mostly 11s do that.
Yeah.
Because if something hits us, we always get some kind of intuitive hit, I think, to call them, email them. There's always something coming through. I think for everybody, our intuition is key, but our intuition is really, really strong as 11s.
Yes.
And just in saying, hey, this really affected me. This really changed my life.
Yeah.
That essence of what we're giving to you, because we're essentially saying, I see you.
Right.
I see you. I see what you're doing. It's important. Keep going.
Right.
And I think honestly, that's what a lot of 11s do. We're all feeling the same way.
And I could not, honestly, I could not continue to do the work that I do if it weren't for my 11s sending me a pat in the back every now and again. Seriously, because there's just so much to it. And I really take pride in the fact that I try to answer every single question. I really, really do. If I miss somebody, I actually sent a message to somebody who had missed a message back in 2016 the other day. I noticed it. Like, I can't believe I did that, right? And I know that the larger my channel gets, the less and less I'm going to be able to get to everybody, but it's really important to me that I try. But it can be exhausting. And so just raising, you know, the little comments and whatnot help to raise my vibration, which again, I want 11s to understand that sometimes that's all you need to do is to reach out to somebody, acknowledge them for what they're doing, run around, like, what's his name? Kenny Blanchard wrote a book about the 1-minute manager, and his management style always said, I think this should just be a global people style, it doesn't have to be management, but he always said, run around finding people doing things right, rather than picking at them for what they're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the vibration of the world, the planet, the universe would sustain itself.
You know, I think that being a 2 and being an 11, there is that peacekeeping, cooperation, unity thing that we're talking about.
Right.
And when we are seeing that and going, keep going, keep going, keep going, that is the light that we're bringing to the world, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this also before, you and I, that it's not about getting there. It's not about being a movement, doing all that stuff. It's about being the heart of the movement. We all are the heart of the movement. And
being present rather than being down the road, rather about worrying about what you haven't accomplished and what you haven't done. Stay in the moment, stay present, right?
Yeah, it's not our job to do something. It's not our job to create the change. No. It's our job to be that change. It's that job of, do I have time for a quick story to talk to you really quickly about? Do I have a quick moment to do that?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Last week I was in Mardi Gras because I'm here in New Orleans, right?
Yay.
And I was in Mardi Gras last week, and we were catching beads, all right? And I was handing them out to the different people that didn't have beads.
Right.
One person turned to me and goes, "That's really nice." He goes, "That was really nice to see." And at the end of the day, seeing everybody's faces light up because somebody shared something with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think 11s realize just how important we are, just being who we are is, how much we affect other people just by doing the things that we do, because it's not commonplace.
Right.
Commonplace. Most people had all these beads on and they weren't going to necessarily hand them out. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I felt like I needed to give people something, have an experience. Yeah. I want to believe in my heart that affected somebody.
Well, it did. You know, not only does it do something for yourself, but you caused this other guy to notice. That raised his vibration. The people that you gave the beads to, it raised their vibration. Guess what? When they go home and they run in the front door and dad's having a crappy day or whatever, they're going to go, guess what, Dad? You know, this really nice lady gave me beads. Well, guess what? Dad's crappy vibration just goes up a notch because he's going, oh, wow, that's really nice. You don't know where it stops. It's like dropping a penny in the pool and it just keeps getting bigger. And I think 11's get hung up on making this big, huge thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that. It's right in the moment. It's right now.
I think when everybody's looking for their, sorry, not to cut you off, but when I think people are looking for their purpose, okay, I think anybody needs to think this way. This is universal, but I think for 11s, you need to trust in the ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really need to trust in that you, even in the littlest ways, people know what it is. And it's honestly, whatever work you put out in the world, whatever effects you do, whatever you do, it's not your job to figure out or worry about who is going to be affected by it or how it's going to get out there. That's not your job.
Exactly.
Your job is to get the message, put it through.
Exactly.
That's your job. Do the action. That's it.
Just do it. Just like Nike says, just do it. Yes, that's it. It's easier said than done. So, tell us how our subscribers can get in touch with you, and what do you have to offer them that might be of help to them? How can we help them through this fear of rejection, this running out of time, and this unclear on their purpose? Is there something you can offer them that might help?
You can go to my website at voiceofdream.com and you could book a clarity session.
Okay.
A lot of people, or a lot of 11s, anybody in general actually, but you don't know, there's a lot of confusion. They're not clear about, okay, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? This is happening. This is happening. The clarity sessions, I cut through all that crap and use different things to help you get clear, at least to get yourself into a direction.
Right. And that's, I think, so many 11s are spiraling around the drain because they're not sure what direction they're meant to be going in. And that's part of their frustration.
Exactly.
They can't get out of their own way. Right. So that'd be great. And I got to say that Stefanie's been very helpful to me. And so many times I've been kind of struggling with the direction I'm supposed to be going in. And she's really able to cut through the crap really fast. So she can see right through it. And I really appreciate that about you. And I'm so grateful that you came on today. And
thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we'll do another video soon. And if anybody's got any comments they'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. Post it down below.
Yeah, comments or questions. Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get a hold of Stefanie at voiceofdream.com. You can, of course, get in touch with me at AnnPerryNumerologist.com. Post a comment, share the video. Love to hear from you all. Love to build community, and we're all in this together. So,
absolutely, we're all in this together. Together we rise, right?
Absolutely, for sure. Thanks, Stefanie. Really appreciate your time. Hoping you're having a great day.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye for now.